JICAM right now is mounting pressure on President Paul Biya for cabinet reshuffle. The problem is why is JICAM, of course, increasing tension or mounting pressure on the head of state, President Paul Biya, for a cabinet reshuffle. This, of course, will be what I'll be treating in the course of this program tonight. And, of course, I'll be talking about Paul Tanganji sanitation drive. Is it, of course, a solution to waste management in Cameroon, or is just a kind gesture? These are the two topics that we'll be treating tonight, and it is no news that it has been a serious problem to Cameroonians as President Paul Biya announced the cabinet reshuffle in the coming days, and Cameroonians are asking, the coming days is yet not coming. That is what we'll be talking in the course of this very platform. And with us, we have 4 panelists that will be digesting this great topic tonight. And with me on my left or my right, I have with me Numfo Lawson Angwa, who happens to be a civil society activist. Good evening and welcome once more to the program.
Good evening, Phil, and good evening to our esteemed televiewers who are watching us worldwide. We thank God for the grace of a new day, for a new week that has enabled us to come here. Before I start, I would like to crave your indulgence to use this wonderful platform as a showcase to continue to appeal to the government of our country, the justice system, to tamper justice with mercy, and to release all political prisoners so that this will pave the way for an inclusive dialogue, an inclusive and reconciliatory dialogue that will bring back our nation, our beautiful nation, on the rails of peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Numfo Lawson Angwa, civil society activist, and we also have a development expert and also an expert in decentralization. He's no other person than Tv Roosevelt. Good evening once more, Tv Roosevelt. Good evening once more, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Phillips. Good evening to all the co-panelists. It's always a pleasure to be here. Good evening to all esteemed televiewers. And we hope to have very interesting deliberations tonight. Thank you.
Of course, it's going to be an interesting one. Just stay glued to your seat, and we'll proceed, of course, with what you desire tonight from Info Television. On my left, we have Dr. Moise Mbok, who happens to be a political communication strategist with us. He's somebody that, of course, understands what is ongoing in Cameroon, and the two topics are within his reach. Good evening, and welcome once more to the program.
Good evening, Mr. Enchi. Good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening to the televiewers. Good evening to the top management of Info Television. Good evening to yourself. And I will surprise you. I want to greet especially President Donald Trump. Not because of what he's doing, but the lesson behind what he's doing. We can do things otherwise.
Thank you very much.
We have to do things otherwise. And I want to join my voice with my brother to appeal the release of political prisoners. Is very important. If we want to solve this crisis, post-electoral crisis and other crises, we have to work on communication, exchanging with others, and showing the proofs that what we want is peace, but peace for everybody, not only on a part, because when you arrest people, you want peace for yourself. When you release people, you want peace for everybody. So we want to appeal to all our leaders to understand that this peace is not just empty words, it's action, and by releasing them, they will comfort families, they will comfort, communities, and then the country will benefit of that. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moise Mbok, political communication strategist. I know you have a lot to tell Cameroonians tonight. We have enough time for that, and I just want to believe that those of you who are watching us tonight, you're going to have, you will not be disappointed. Of course, we have with us Barrister Lekelefak Michael, Barrister at Law. Good evening and welcome once more to the program.
Good evening, Mr. Phil. Good evening to my co-panelists. Good evening to the televiewers of Info Television and to fellow Cameroonians all over the globe. It's my pleasure to be here this evening for us to continue our work for an inclusive nation, for a nation that is for all the sons and daughters of Cameroon through our patriotic contributions which we offer here through this program. Thanks for your invitation.
Thank you very much, Barrister Lekelefak and Michael. I just want to inform our televiewers that this program, of course, you can get us from our Facebook page, and of course, even YouTube. We are direct and live. And if you want to connect with us, just connect with the numbers on your screen. You can send your SMSs, your own worries, or your own contribution as the program unfolds. But before we dive to what we have for you today as menu, let's do have this little transition, and we'll be back in a jiffy. Of course, GCAM, who happens to be led by Celestina Tawamba, came out recently with declarations sending directly to President Paul Biya, the President of the Republic of Cameroon, that in case he is unfolding with his idea or declarations of a cabinet reshuffle, he should do it fast, and of course the government should be competent enough. That is what GCAM is saying through the voice of Celestina Tawamba. And of course Cameroonians are asking why is it that GCAM is gaining so much interest into President Paul Biya's cabinet reshuffle. It is no news that this very enterprise or this very association in Cameroon belongs to, of course, to employers. It is an association of employers in the country. So we are going to connect with Dr. Moise Mbok. You happens to be a political communication strategist, and of course you have a bright or broad knowledge when it concerns issue on communication, and when it concerns also politics, because a declaration of this magnitudes is related to politics, because we're talking about a cabinet reshuffle. Tell us, what do you think? What prompted Celestine Tawamba to come out with these declarations?
For me, I think I have two things. I see it in two ways. The first way is that when you talk about GCAM, you talk about facilitator. First of all, they are facilitators. But facilitators on business. That brings us to the second point of view, which is watchmen. They are watchmen on our economy, on the business, and they can foresee things. And the way we have to carry our economy is their job. Because in the GCAM you have employees, you have entrepreneurs, you have all that partake to economy, and they are the ones in charge in the private sector to make sure that economy is booming, that is moving. So so far, when they see the way our country is going, no industry, no factory, nothing very serious that can carry us, for instance, to leave the France CFA, for instance, to develop what we eat and produce them from inside. They are worried. That's why for them, they want something new. And GCAM, as facilitators, they have been talking to our government, to our prime minister, to even the head of state. The way things are going, too much taxes, too much problems they have with custom, too much difficulties they have with, all these department of the government, even the GOs at times, they have problems with them. So today, GCAM, as facilitators, they want to make sure that businessmen are protected. And while they are asking it, it means that the present government is not performing that much what they expect from them. And in the second hand, we used to plead about it. There's no vision, industrial vision for Cameroon. And if I am Tawamba today, I will have the same concern.
But Dr. Moise Mbok, these people are employers who happens to own enterprises and companies in the country. And when you keep saying that there are no industries in the country, what do you mean? Are these industries coming abroad, or are the people of or members of this association expatriates? Are they not Cameroonians?
What you're saying is very true. The truth is that for a country to build factories, industries, that we take care of them first and then help the world, it takes not only money, it takes facilities that government can bring. And it's a common work, private sector and public sector, in a vision, in a common vision. What they are doing now, most of them are doing it with their own money that they borrow in the banks and so on. At times, the government can help them, but they want more, they expect more, because they know they can produce more. It's something, I believe, if there is a goodwill, they can sit together and really do marvelous things. Between the Minister of Finance, for instance, and the GCAM, they can do marvelous things for Cameroon. But at times you feel like there are difficulties in communicating.
Now, do you think that there is a particular ministerial department that GCAM is appointing at?
No. Almost all the departments are concerned. Almost all the Prime Minister's office is concerned, because when it comes to doing business,
so you are telling us that the Prime Minister should be changed?
No, I'm not the one. I'm not GCAM. We are talking about GCAM, not me. So I'm not giving my point of view. I'm giving the GCAM's point of view based on different things. I hope we agree on that. It's not my point of view here today. It's the point of view of GCAM. The GCAM believes that if we have a strong Prime Minister that can really get into things and push them, they will be better. And the whole country will be better. If we can have different ministers in their offices and performing what they have to do, the country will be better. For me, you must keep in your mind that what GCAM is pleading for is the betterment of business environment. What they are pleading for is a betterment of partnership between public sector and private sector. What they are pleading on is the capacities Cameroon have, and they want to build them and make it better. So we should not take them as a problem, Doctor, as enemies.
Doctor, do you think that if GCAM is gaining so much interest in President Paul Biya's cabinet reshuffle, and we of course knows that there are ministers who've been there, they've been working for the past 7 years since President Paul Biya ascended power in 2019, and that they've been working tirelessly to make sure that Cameroon forge ahead. We see developmental projects in the domain of agriculture. We see how the Ministry of Agriculture is unfolding with projects. Ministry of, we're talking about Minipia. We see the Ministry of Trade. We see other ministries, economy and development. And these ministries, of course, are presently, they are acting in synergy. Do you think that GCAM actually is pointing fingers towards this direction? No, because these are areas where, of course, they are being connected to enterprises in the country. And
not only. And for me, what we have to keep in mind too is that if we can produce 10 and we produce 2 today, and you journalists are saying that we are producing 2, but people from GCAM, because of their techniques and their overview of the thing, know that we can produce 10, they will be angry. You will think with those 2 that we are doing something, but for them, we can do 10, we can do 20. What is the problem? So maybe the management is a problem, and we have to change it because there is a cap to reach. So I believe if we ask to them sincerely the question, they will answer technically and maybe financially. They have the answer. They know what they want. It means that this present government is not performing the way they are supposed to be performing. And we should not hide it. We cannot say that everything is well in Cameroon. It's not, nothing is working the way we should be. Nothing is working like that. Infrastructures, agriculture, everywhere. There are things to do again. When you see the potential of Cameroon, you are asking yourself what is happening. So if GCAM have this boldness to step out and say, hey, things are not working, we should listen to them instead of trying to fight them and to say maybe they want to become the next ministers. No, they have their money, they have their factories, they are working and they're doing what they can do, but they know that in this country, I'm telling you, my brother, we can do so much. We are doing so less.
Thank you, Dr. Moise Mbok, for your declarations and elaborations. I'll come to you, Barrister Lekelefak Mike. You are a barrister at law. It is no news that Cameroon do have laws that, of course, guide infrastructural development and also the enterprise or the companies in Cameroon. So I'll put this to you, Barrister Lekelefaka Michael. When you look at the various conventions that Cameroon signs with other partners in the country, and when you look at the business atmosphere in Cameroon, seeing Celestine Tawamba mounting pressure on President Paul Biya to proceed with cabinet reshuffle and insisting on the fact that people should be competent enough to manage affairs in the country. What is your reaction towards that?
Of course, I think like the leader of the business world in our country, he should feel concerned for the business climate in which our fraternity is going through. I think it is a call on the President of the Republic to say you have pledged to serve the people, and I expect much from you.
Yeah. And
my expectation, you have vehemently recognized the President by saying that cabinet reshuffle, by telling Cameroonians, announcing to Cameroonians that the Cameroon should be expecting cabinet reshuffle in the days to come, is an implicit recognition that he has a great team of managers. So I think on the part of the President of GCAM, reminding the President that today we are waiting because we think that the new managers are coming in with a new vision, with a new dynamics, and this is actually going to impact the business climate under which his organization is operating. I think like Dr. Mbok was saying a few minutes ago, that you see that the President of GCAM has actually been granted audiences with with members of government. We've seen him doing that. It is because of the fact that the administrative bottlenecks which President Paul Biya has once recognized to be impairing the administrative atmosphere and procedures in Cameroon is something which we cannot neglect in the business climate. So reminding the President of the Republic that the cabinet reshuffle that you announce is awaited and appoint people of competence. Don't go back to your own errors, the former errors which you might have committed. You don't go back to get people who are not to work for the interests of the general welfare, the interests of the nation, but people are going to work for their individual benefit. So I think it is a call, a patriotic call as a leader to say that we are expecting from you. You and I, as Cameroonians, we are ordinary citizens, and our voice might not count so much. But when somebody like the President of GCAM and other stakeholders remind the President of his own promise to the nation, it is actually a call which must ring a bell in the mind of the President.
Barrister, we have legal instruments in Cameroon that, of course, provide an enabling environment for business people, for, as they call it in French, homme d'affaires, to proceed with their environment or proceed with their businesses without any problem. But when he keeps insisting on President Paul Biya, why now?
Why now? The context in which we find ourselves today, Mr. Enchi, is a call for concern. President Paul Biya is more than 4 decades in power, and today in 2025 many Cameroonians were expecting that there will be something like a change in the realm of power, but again he came up to tell Cameroonians, I am still up to the task. Being up to the task is not being called President of the Republic, but being the servant of the people. And so if he is coming today, it is I think it is a very timely call to remind the President that don't think that if you are sleeping, we are sleeping on our part. We are expecting much from you. The promise you made to Cameroonians on the 6th of November was not a the oath which was taken to save the people of Cameroon was not just a mere call to be a ceremonial something, but it goes beyond that ceremony to say each and every Cameroonian, the business world in Cameroon, which is still today, which is supposed to constitute, I think, the driving force of our nation, which is not yet the case, because, like you say, the laws are there. The implementation of the law is a problem because of what? We have people in offices who are not due to meritocracy, but due to some other consideration, tribalism, nepotism, bribery and corruption.
So that's an indirect signal that some of these people are not competent enough. That's what
we Cameroonians, we are suffering in Cameroon today not because we ought to suffer.
They are political position. Post of minister in Cameroon is a political position.
A post of a political position, yes, which is supposed not to be just as a way of compensating somebody because of his loyalty, but it is a call to serve. It is when you are, as the President of the Republic, you are the #1 servant, and the team of people who are to accompany you are not there for self-aggrandizement, but they are there to accompany you in a vision, and that vision is to make Cameroonians feel that they have leaders. But if we have a team of persons who are there in positions only to cause hell to the people that they are supposed to lead, do you think that we are this is good of this speaks well of our nation? No. So I think within the business climate there are still a lot to do, because yes, at the level of the laws are there, there are institutions which are put in place, but how effective are these institutions? This is the question that if you have to answer, you see that we have to change our mentality. Not only change the mentality, change the people who are there, because for us to attain our objective, for us to attain what we expect as a nation, we need people who can give in the best, not ruin the taxpayers as we have today in our fraternity. So I think the call is very timely. And the only thing I may regret is that, you see, it is, to me, all what we are talking about the President of the Republic today may be uncalled for. Why? Because if for 43 years he has not been able to do something, I don't think it is at somebody getting to 100 who is almost absent from the public that we want to see a miracle, except it is from an angel that is going to come and change things to happen.
Thank you.
So I think that his call is laudable, but it is, like we say, commonly say,
it is a clarion call.
It's throwing water on the deck's back.
Thank you very much, Barrister Lekelefak. Michael, I'll come to you, Numfo Lawson Nangwa. It is no news that Cameroonians today, of course, are waiting the cabinet reshuffle promised by President Paul Biya in the coming days. Some of them are saying that the coming days is like the coming days is no more coming. Now I'll put this to you. Now GCAM is not comfortable with situations like this and is calling on the authorities that be, most especially President Paul Biya, to make sure that the government that is expecting or aspiring to put in place should be a government that, of course, will be very active. I'll put this to you. Why is it that GCAM, it is in 2026 that GCAM will come out with such pronunciation? Today in Cameroon, we have other means, other stuff that President Paul Biya has been promoting in the country. We have the SND Trant, the National Development Strategy 2020-2030. We have import substitution programs that the government has been putting in place, and of course it is working. But today he's saying that those who are supposed to man position of responsibility or as ministers in the coming days should be people that are competent. Do you buy such idea, and what actually is behind this declaration?
Thank you, Phil. I would like to say that GCAM is an employers association that creates wealth and generates income, creates wealth and create jobs equally for the private for the Cameroonian public, and they do that from the private sector perspective. GECAM is in its role, perfect. What they are doing, they are perfectly in their role. And this is not the first time that they are doing it. Yeah. You remember that last year by August, the delegation of Mr. Tawamba went to the PM's office and gave him a roadmap, an economic roadmap to follow that should be implemented after these elections. And after the elections, that roadmap is nowhere to be found. They presented a 40 plan recommendation to grow the economy of Cameroon. Yeah. That was in July last year, in 2025. And up to now, you see the country is still dancing in this economic despondency in which we find ourselves. I would like to say that...
so are you telling Cameroonians that President Paul Biya has not done enough that, of course, can convince Celestine Tawamba and his association that such a declaration should be reserved sometime, maybe not now? If
you ask any Cameroonian, by this time, if you told anybody last year that by January 26, Cameroon would not be having a new government, nobody would have accepted. Because everybody knew that by latest December, we were supposed to have a new government. But here we are in January 26, almost going to the end of the January. We are almost getting to February. And the new government is not out. And you see, the absence of that government impacts negatively on the economic sectors. Remember that GECAM is the voice of the voiceless when it comes to the economy. And GECAM works with the SNI, the National Investment Corporation. Because you see, the National Investment Corporation is a portfolio that manages virtually all the economic structures in Cameroon. The hotels, the chain of hotels, all the other transport network, banks. The SNI has shares in all of those companies. And then GECAM equally sits on as board members of many of these state corporations. So you see, GECAM is like a deep state. A deep state is an institution in a country that informally, controls the decision-making process in that country. For example, the World Trade Center in the US, the Federal Reserve, those are aspects, those are entities of the deep state that no American president can joke with. When you are elected the president of America, you fit into the CIA, or you fit into the Federal Reserve like a straitjacket. They don't fit into you, you fit into them, and they dictate terms to you. But
Numfo Lawson, you come to discover that in Cameroon today, President Paul Biya, of course, do have his own policies, and when he does something, it is not actually expected, and when he does it, Cameroonians do applaud for his bravery. Now, don't you think this is enormous pressure on the side of President Paul Biya? Is it accepted?
The pressure is more than needed, because the present government, especially from an economic and social perspective, it's not delivering on, on the promises that they made to the people. Most of the economic sectors in our government are really lackluster in their performance.
So when you say most of them, which of them? It means there are some that are performing marvelously, while there are some that are still on a balance.
There is a lot of duplication of functions within our administration. Many of the ministries, they find they overlap in their functions. At one moment, you see an activity that ought to have been carried out by the Minister of Small and Medium Size. You find trade doing it. You find culture doing it. You find Minepat doing it. And so, at one moment, because the ministers are afraid of stepping onto their colleagues' toes and making mistakes, some just shy away, and then you see that aspect is just standing like that. And nobody, when an aspect stands like that, it creates a lot of problems. Yes. So, GECAM is in its role in trying to put pressure on the head of state. Because it is unthinkable that after 3 months after the presidential election, we should not have a government. We need a government.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Numfo Lawson. It is very obvious that in Cameroon today we have banks that has been created by the state of Cameroon. I'm talking about possibilities, rather not banks, possibilities that has been created by the state of Cameroon for Cameroonians, of course, to get access to loans. And it is no news that the country do have external sources of income or finance, as loans, a huge amount of money are being taken from various banks as debt to improve infrastructures in the country and also proceed with other development in the country. I'll come to you, Chongvi Roosevelt. It is no news that you are an expert in local development and also in decentralization in the country. We see how GCAM is mounting pressure on President Paul Biya. Do you think that this actually is supposed to be something that ought to come at this moment, or this pressure is political?
Thank you again for giving me the floor. Well, it cannot be political. To me, I think it's purely economic. Because if you look at the statistics, you know, we are talking economics here, finance. The growth rate of Cameroon since, I think, 2023, sorry, in a way, it's kind of stagnating. You know, when you look at it in 2023, we are moving from 3.4 to 3.6. Barely 2.2%. 2024, we are moving from 3.6 to 3.9. Now we are in 26, we're struggling to move from 3.9 to 4. So basically, you see that GCAM, their interest is to see that we overcome this economic stagnation, and we try to see how we can solve some of these structural issues that are plaguing our economy. And one of the ways to do that, first of all, is, you know, to come up with a cabinet reshuffle, which will bring in new faces, and these new faces may come up with new policies, you know, that may, you know, restore trust. You know, in any economy, once there's no trust, there's no way you can have foreign investment. That's something we need to understand. Because if me, for example, who is coming from Paris or from Kuala Lumpur to come and invest maybe in Cameroon, I need to be sure that in the event where an institution or an individual infringes on my rights, I need to be sure that the justice system there is going to do what they are supposed to do. So, and when you look at it critically, holistically, our justice system is almost in a sham. It's not running on full capacity. The judges themselves are not, in fact, effective in the sense of number. Many who are supposed to be on retirement, but they are not. Many who have been appointed to other administrations but have not been replaced. Many who have finished their training, they are yet to be integrated, and so on. So that's an aspect of trust. We need to bring back trust. Another aspect is bringing in stability. You know, since 2015 with the Boko Haram, and even before then the Anglophone crisis came in again in 2016. We have been having some political and social instability in those regions, and so of course, who want to invest in those?
Are the ministers supposed to be the one to go resolve this problem?
Why not? They have been given the mandate. They have been given the mandate, so they have the primary role to see how to solve that problem. It's true that we have been seeing some trying to do so, but of course, the problem is yet to be solved.
The situation is not as compared in the past.
Exactly, but if we are talking business here, we are talking money. I cannot go and put my money where I am not certain that I'm going to get it back. This is pure business. It has nothing to do with maybe emotions or what have you. So that is it. So I think GCAM is coming up with this issue of cabinet reshuffle to see how the nation in general can restore trust. The nation in general can be stable in order to attract foreign investment. Of course, addressing structural bottlenecks. I mean, the other panelists have explained, you know, in Cameroon we are champions of bureaucracy in all domains. High tax burdens. It seems to me like we copied our tax code from somewhere, which I don't know, and to me that somewhere is more developed than Cameroon, and we came and pasted in our context. So you see that the tax code does not really go with the Cameroonian context, because you basically don't see what the people do, but when you look at the taxes that they pay, there's no match. And
what is prompting these people that you're talking about, what is prompting Cameroonians not to get into actually serious business so that they can actually promote foster import substitution in Cameroon? Because in an economy when there's the promotion of import substitution, it is very obvious that there will be a boom.
Sure, of course, it's of no news. We have a serious inefficiency, or I don't want to say lack of infrastructure and energy. There is no economy that can function in its full scale without adequate infrastructure, without adequate energy.
When you talk about energy, we have various dams that are...
Of course.
And we have the Nashtika Dam, Banga, and so on and so forth. These, of course, are encouragement to make sure that these are just aspects that are very visible by the state of Cameroon, and it was done in collaboration with ministers.
We still we are still struggling around one and the same problem. We have the dams, but we are not making good use of the dams, unfortunately. You just made mention of Nashtiga. Nashtiga produces 420 megawatts of energy, but we don't use up to half. And unfortunately, we pay 10 billion every month for the functioning of Nashtiga. So we have the dam, it's producing the energy, but we are not using it. Why? Because it's like when developing the project, we completely forgot the transportation part of it. Because when we talk of energy, it has to do with 3 sections. You have the production itself, transportation, and then commercialization. So it seems to me like the transportation part is still a cake, because if you produce 420 megawatts of energy and the transportation cables, the transformers and the like are unable to carry them, there's no way you will get to the households. And that is the problem we are facing. And once it doesn't get to the household, what happens? Businesses do not boom, the economy remains stagnant, and so on. And so you see, it has a multiplier effect on the economy in general. So this has, and then aside that, we also have administrative bottlenecks, bureaucracy. You need to get a business done, you need to get this done, they will ask you for back doors. They really see that your business proposal is worthwhile, but for some reason you will not be favored. Like now the head of state created the special fund, 50 billion, that is to be distributed to youths and women to empower youths and women who have kind of good projects. The question still remains, you may have people who have great projects, but unfortunately you may not see them in that list because of nepotism, because of corruption and the like. So all of this at the end of the day tends to make the economy stagnant. And when you look at it from a macroeconomic point of view, you realize that GCAM, they have all the right to tell the head of state to hasten his steps, to bring in new energy, new faces, people who are able to take swift and competent decisions.
Thank you very much.
Maybe you permit me give some statistics.
Thank you very much.
Support what he has just said.
You have something to say. Yes, a few seconds.
I just wanted to cue in to support what he has said by giving some few statistics. The infrastructure ranking for Cameroon, we are 134 out of 139 countries. The global innovation index, we are 161 out of 134. We have our oil production sector has dropped by 4.9% in 2025, which is a very big blow to our economy, because a serious economy should have the non-oil sector, the oil sector, and even the service sectors. So we have dropped in that one. Cameroon, our rule of law index, World Justice Report, we are ranked 134 out of 143 nations. Our optic fiber development index, we are 93rd out of 93 countries. It's really a shame. And with ICTs, when we talk about optic fiber, we are talking about ICTs. It means that in
you're talking about information and communication technology.
Yeah. And if we are last, it means that we cannot power our economy.
Thank you very much. I'll come to you, Dr. Moise Mboka. Do we have actually an enabling business atmosphere in Cameroon?
Very good, because I wanted to add something towards that. You know, the truth is that all the embassies we have here in Cameroon, they are taking all the information on everything we said, and they send back home to their investors, to their Chamber of Commerce, to their authorities. And there they are organized. When they want to invest in a sector, in a particular country, they carry on studies first to make sure that these people, we can trust them and bring in our money. Before the elections, Jekan and many businessmen went through that situation where they were saying the country is not stable, there are a lot of problems, we have bad report about Cameroon, and we believe that there's a new president, things will change. You see the same president, no problem. Now the next thing the investors are asking is that there are new faces.
When you're talking about the reports, are these reports valid?
But look at the ranking. Because the reports are valid, they're not just talking mere things. When they say that nepotism, they have proofs. When they say that our policies are confused, they have proofs. When they say that we are not going, what is our business policy in Cameroon? There's nothing to show properly. Where, you know, there are many things abroad they are planning on, they prepare everything, and they can show. In Cameroon, we behave as if when a minister comes and gives a report, is weak. When a minister comes and explains himself, we believe in our country. That is a bet. In other countries, you have to serve the country, as the barrister was saying. Serve means explain yourself, show where we are going, and bring proofs.
But a lot
we are not doing it in Cameroon.
Dr. Moise, a lot has been done in Cameroon when it concerns road infrastructures and other.
When it
concerns road infrastructures, of course, we saw the Douala-Yaoundé corridor, which is of course unfolding. We have other roads that are in the far north region, and a lot of them, of course, are unfolding or are coming up today in the country. But this is also thanks to a good administration, Dr. Moise Mboka.
No. We cannot be having this kind of ranking and we say we are doing things. We do have roads, but they are bad roads and they are so much expensive.
Very.
So we don't have roads. You know, the problem with Cameroonians is that we are talking as if we are talking about something else. We are talking about what we are living every day. It's our daily life. And we express it in this presidential election. And the president himself said that I've heard what we have said. It means that himself, and Barrister was saying it, he knows that things are not going the way they're supposed to go. No one asked him for this reshufflement. Himself.
He said it.
It is very obvious that
because he had reports from abroad.
Doctor, it is very obvious that in Cameroon today, there are ministers who are being caught or are being suspected for embezzlement, and some of the cases are in court, and the government is sparing no efforts to make sure that these properties are, of course, recovered. Is this not something worthy of appreciation? If you're talking about poor management,
you know, we say in French, le pays a traversé les remèdes. In this country, in this country, when something normal is done, we applaud it because nothing is done in a normal way. This is something, that the government should recover what somebody stole from him is something, we should not even talk about it because it's normal. But since nothing is done normally, something like this will come on news and we said it out as if it's an event. It's not an event. If you steal something and they take it back, it's not an event. It's something normal. You know, new faces is not for Cameroon. It's for business. It's for our relations with the international partners. It's for the GCAM to bring in new strength to empower our economy.
So you're telling us that political strategies, of course, are most important at this moment, not political ideologies.
Exactly.
Economic strategies.
And in that strategy, there is economy first.
Of course.
because the whole world is going towards economy and strong economy. Look at the US, look at Russia, look at China. If you cannot talk economy in this world, you are last and you are lost. And we cannot continue to behave as if we will sit down and people will come from abroad and help us. No, we can do things from inside. So we need a minister that can guard that strength and say, let's go there. And while we are going there, is giving report for the population to, to be aware and to put pressure on the servant that ministers and the president are. All of them are servants. But since we behave as if they are kings, cannot talk to them. So the day you see them, you applaud. Is it normal?
Not at all.
The day they do something, you applaud. They are there to perform every day. The problem with us, our mentality must change. The citizens must change this mentality of worshipping our leaders.
That's the thing.
They have to worship the vision, not the person.
That's the thing.
What is the vision you are taking us on? That's the thing you have to worship, not the person. But here in Cameroun especially, we worship the general managers. We worship ministers. For the president, I mean, it's something else. Because of what is wrong, and we need to arrange it. Arrange it by asking them where they are taking us. We are talking about 2030.
The National Development Strategy.
Emergence.
2035.
2035.
Fine. Today we are 4. Let's say we are 4. Already at 4. Let's have faith. We are already at 4. Do you know that for us to become a pays emergent, we need to get to 8?
Yes.
8. It means that
you're talking about
there is
8%.
work.
8%
Yes,
growth
there
rate.
is a work to do.
A lot of work.
No time to joke or to play. And when I see us behaving as if a minister comes and give us a short word, we applaud as if something has happened, is wrong. We have to tell them the truth without insulting them, without behaving as if we disrespect them. We have to tell them the truth. Where we are going, Gabon is already going there. Chad is already going there. All the countries all over the world are going there. Where are we going? We cannot behave as if things don't happen like that. They happen intentionally. And what we need today, leaders that carries a vision. To get to this 8%, what are we doing? How do we go as government? How do we help private sector to get there? How do you do to open doors to new partners? That's why Jikam is saying that something is wrong. And we must be aware of that. We should not insult them tomorrow. We should not say, they're not doing anything. They're doing what they have to do, and our government must listen to them. And the president himself, that in his speech, or he wanted to say it, or somebody just put it in his speech, he said it. Okay, the days are coming. Some are saying at the end of January. Some are saying maybe the end of the year. What we want is proof that he heard what we have said, proofs that his hand is stretched to development, to betterment of the country, proofs that he's still the leader that want to bring Cameroon somewhere.
Now, Barrister Alekelefak and Michael, mounting pressure on President Paul Biya this time around, where countries across the globe are trying, sparing no efforts to make sure that their economy, of course, do remain at the top of it. We are seeing what is ongoing in the US of A. We are seeing what is happening in Russia. And of course, Cameroon is a partner to this country. Now, authorities or employers in Cameroon are not comfortable with what is going on. Now, do you think that something actually needs to be done? Of course, we are coming to towards the end of this first phase of the program. Tell us actually, what do you think should be done by the government of Cameroon, or what do you think should be done by President Paul Biya to address the problem that is stemming from Jikam concerning the cabinet reshuffle?
Yes, Mr. Enchi, before I get there, just permit me say that in January 2013, on the 13th of January, I think there is a communique of the Minister of Higher Education launching recruitment into insect Kumba. I think the total number of species for the whole concours is 100. You see that in discipline we are admitting 7 maximum 8 places, and how many Cameroonians are going to sit in for this examination, competitive examination. You see that why do I bring this is to corroborate that, to confirm that we are having people who are not incompetent managers. The government policy has first of all been to suspend recruitment, to make this institution, they have laid this recruitment down for a while, that it became teachers were not more to be recruited to be trained in this establishment. Later on, by I think end of year,
it was done, Barrister Lekele. In fact, it was done based on necessity of service. There are Cameroonians that are out there, and they just completed their, they just terminated their courses in the university, and it was deemed necessary for these people to be introduced into the government, or to fill those gaps that were empty. And some of them, of course, maybe they are no more existing. Some of them traveled abroad, and there were enough spaces for these people to fit in. So you can't be saying the decision of the government wasn't a good one.
I'm simply trying to draw your attention on one fact, Mr. Enchi. We are talking here in the public sector, which the public administration, which is supposed to be better managed by the administration, Mr. Abia and his collaborators. If they are not competent to manage the administration, that today they take a policy we are suspending, within 2 years, because of campaign or whatever, they come again to relaunch, and the number of recruitment, knowing that they have promised the public service to be the highest or the best employer.
The public service is the highest, or the government is the highest employer. It is no news.
The best employer, which is not supposed to be the case. So when you see the president of GCAM, who is heading enterprises in the business world, being inspired just from this type of fumbling, which I can say that we see in the administration of the state, it is a call for concern that this should not extend to the business climate. And how should it not extend into the business climate? If there was a minister of higher education yesterday who perhaps proposed that we should suspend admission into direct recruitment through concourse into the teaching that was another opportunity. And again, after 2 years after 2 years or so, the same minister proposes that let's go back again to what we have suspended. You see that there is confusion.
Thank you.
And that is why, if this confusion should be in the Ministry of Commerce, that which we see with other ministries, economy and regional, what the ministries which are concerned with, the president of GCAM should actually draw the attention of the leader who is there. The only thing which I regret is that how can you spend 43 years changing people with no result, which means you yourself, you are incompetent.
Thank you very much, Barrister. That's your declaration, and you're responsible for whatsoever declaration you make here on set. I'll come to you. I'm coming to the end of this first phase of the program. Numfo Lawson Nangwa, a final solution to this situation. GCAM is asking, of course, of a cabinet reshuffle and competence. That's what they are asking. What actual information, or what are your proposals to the government of Cameroon in case this cabinet reshuffle should come tomorrow?
We have been singing this topic over and over again.
Cameroonians want to get their opinion. Yes. It is pressing.
Yes. I think that the head of state once more should be courageous enough not to allow the politics to influence his economic decisions, because it is the politicians, especially, you know, they said that a politician is interested in the next election, whereas a nationalist is somebody who cares for the interests of the nation over the next 1,000 years. A politician cares about the next election, and the head of state is surrounded by carnivorous politicians whose stock in trade is just to make their way, have their positions, grow rich, and so on and so forth. This time around, there is danger. Yeah. There is danger. The economy of Cameroon is sinking, going towards a precipice. And if the head of state is not courageous enough to shove aside those politicians and sit back and take courageous economic strategies by bringing on board technicians or the technocrats, economic technocrats, who can heal the wounds of this republic. As far as economy is concerned, we shall be drifting towards, a storm. I am appealing to that the head of state should consolidate, or we should, carry out some reforms concerning the support council for the realization of partnership contracts. It is a structure under Minepat that was set up to carry out, to enhance public-private partnership with foreign donor agencies so as to grow the economy. But that structure seems to be kicking its heels. I think that structure should be revamped. That structure should be revamped so that many more donors and many more funding should be sourced from abroad to be injected into the economy.
Thank you.
And then lastly, I think that the fight against corruption once more should be the battlefront of the head of state, because any government that is changed and we don't fight against corruption, we don't institute Article 66 of the Constitution for people to, declare their assets. If we don't carry out lifestyle audits in this country, that corruption will continue to eat into our national fabric. Look at the Cangate, the report of the audit bench of the Supreme Court on the COVID, on the Cangate. Up till now, the reports have gone nowhere. That shows you that we are in a society that is in stagnation. The head of state needs to step up.
Thank you very much. Numfo Ngwa. I'll come to you, Changvi Roosevelt. We are coming to the end of this first phase of the program. President Paul Biya promised in his early days rigor and moralization. And as you come this time around, is mounting pressure for a cabinet reshuffle. Not only cabinet reshuffle per se, but those who are competent to man positions of responsibility. Tell us, how do you buy this idea, and what are you expecting in the coming days?
Well, what I expect in the coming days, of course, is the cabinet reshuffle, like every other Cameroonian. Cabinet reshuffle with more competent people, like they say in French, laissez la politique pour les politiciens.
Are you talking about competent politicians, or
exactly? That's what I'm saying.
To man position and bring out results.
That is exactly what I'm saying. We have politicized almost everything in our country, and unfortunately, it has taken us to where we are today. I don't, like Barrister was saying, you come out with policies because of politics. Today you open, you close, the next day you are launching, the next day you are stopping. I mean, it's total confusion. Yeah. I'm talking the case of ENS, like he was explaining. It's exactly what happens with our policies. It just tells us that even the policies that we draft, we seem not to even understand the intricacies of the policies that we ourselves are drafting. So I think we should really work on that. The head of state should really put a question mark on that aspect, that everything that has to do with economics should be treated from the standpoint of economics, finances, and put politics a little bit aside out of economics. And secondly, the government should try to encourage, this Nigerian system. Unfortunately, one of the reasons why our economy is the way it is because we don't produce. We are more of traders, like they say, we buy and sell. No value has been created.
Nothing.
So we have not produced anything. And then the few people who even dare to even do the buying and selling, they go in with no experience. You see somebody will tell you a bakery business is giving today, pap, he enters. Shawarma business is giving today, he closes the bakery and goes to shawarma. Bar business is giving today, he enters. So we ourselves, we Cameroonians, we are confused. And it's because we have not yet adopted this Nigerian system wherein, and I love it so much, I think the government should institutionalize it in that before you call yourself a business person in any domain, you should have done at least 7 years of apprenticeship. Within that 7 years, you
that should begin also in the various educational milieu.
Exactly, it should be at all zones. You master the business in and out in such a way that you can survive from the business. Because doing business statistics in Cameroon from the World Bank says that our businesses have a lifespan of 5 years. Meaning, and you see it, you see a bar today, maximum 2-3 years, you don't see it anymore. So these are some of the things that I think if the government helps, and Cameroonians ourselves, we should learn to be serious when we want to do business. And if the government is to institutionalize this issue of full-time training before even giving you a license for any business that you endeavor to do, is going to take us to better heights.
Thank you very much, Changvi Roosevelt, for your declarations and pronouncements. I just want to thank you very much because we've come to the end of the first phase of this program. And of course, we'll be coming directly with the second phase of the program, which of course is talking about Paul Tanganji, happens to be the Minister of Territorial Administration. Recently, he gave out shovels and other sanitation equipment to authorities within Cameroon's municipalities. And it is no news that the objective of these equipment, of course, is to promote sanitation and, of course, keep Cameroonian cities clean. This, of course, we want to be treating in the course of this next program. But the question that we'll be asking, or Cameroonians are asking, is it a solution to waste management in Cameroon, or is it a kind gesture to be forgotten maybe in a few months? That's what we'll be having in the course of this. But before we divert and have our panelists their own ideas, let's do have this transition, and we'll be back in a moment. Paul Tanganji's sanitation ideas, is it of course something highly appreciated by Cameroonians? This is Cameroon, of course, of us, and it is no news that Cameroonians who are out of the country are complaining on a daily basis concerning the huge deposit of waste that are, of course, littering the street of Yaoundé, Douala, and major cities across the country. It has been a call for concern. Recently, or very soon in the month of March, Cameroon will welcome in the interministerial meeting of the World Trade Organization. And recently in Yaoundé, a few days ago, the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute, had to carry on evaluation studies with some of his members of government. And it is no news that immediately after this very conference or meeting with stakeholders, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji, had to come up with this decision that is, of course, is a call for concern today in Cameroon. Now we'll be asking our panelists, I'll start with you, Changvi Roosevelt. You are an expert in local development and, of course, also an expert in decentralization. We see how the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji, had to invite municipal councillors and also governors and so on and so forth, those who are manning posts of responsibility throughout the national territory to Yaoundé. And of course we saw how 700 barrels, shovels and so on and so forth, sanitation equipments were being given to some of these authorities to provide a serene atmosphere for Cameroonians as they go about their daily activities. That is, of course, promoting hygiene and sanitation in the country. Now, do you think these acts was being promoted by something? Was it influence? Is it a political influence, or it is actually a drive to wipe out the issue of waste deposit that duplies the roads and streets in various cities in this country?
Well, I think, to me as a Cameroonian, my interest is not to have this quantity of waste on the streets. So whatever method we use, insofar as we don't have them on the streets, that is plausible. And honestly, it's a plausible initiative by the minister, Minister Paul Tanganji, because primarily speaking, it is not actually his duty. Yeah, let's put it plainly, is the duty of regional and local authorities as provided for by the law. So he is coming in now like an appui, like they say, a helping hand to see how that problem can be solved, because it's really an urgent issue. Because if you look at it with the rapid rate at which population growth, Douala and Yaoundé alone produce cumulatively about 4,700 tons of waste a day. Douala has 2,700, while Yaoundé we are at 2,000. So you see that these regional and local authorities, primarily city councils, were managing it through, most of them were using Izakam, and you see that this issue of financial constraints still comes in, because in 2019 they instituted a new law, they call they call it special excise duty, something like that, that was to be made on all goods that are imported, maybe spirits, alcohol, and any other kind of product. They put a percentage of that tax that will help councils to do waste management. But unfortunately, I'm sure out of the 360 something councils that are in Cameroon, I want to say not up to half are receiving that money for waste management. So you see, they have this issue of financial constraints, and also administrative bottlenecks. You know, each person always wants to do things as they want.
Chungvi, before you continue, Chungvi, it is very obvious that in Cameroon today we have various ministerial departments that do work in collaboration to make sure that the cities are clean. It is not a one-man thing.
Of course.
We have the Ministry of Territorial Administration, we have the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, we have the Ministry of Environmental Protection and Ministry of Environment, Nature Protection and Sustainable Development. We also have in Devil, we're talking about Ministry of Decentralization and Local Government.
Exactly.
These are, of course, our partner ministries that are working. But today we see Paul Atanganji taking the lead. Why? Is he too much concerned about the sanitation situation in the country? And now we start seeing people who are out there, now they are conscious of the fact that there are certain attitude that they need to adopt.
Exactly.
Why is it now?
Because it's overdue. It's overdue. We Cameroonians, we ourselves, let's acknowledge it, we have a very dirty attitude. Sometimes myself, it's an eyesore that you see somebody sitting in a vehicle. I mean, in the middle of the road, because he's done eating his granite, he just throws it. He will not even wait to get to an area where there's a bush, like we call it. In the middle of the road, once he's done eating his granite or drinking his juice, pap, he just sends it out the window. So I think it is really coming at the right time. We really need to put a hammer on that aspect. And I think that law that he has put, that if you are caught throwing refuse in anyhow, you should be punished, and heavily punished. I think you have, he said, God have you, that's something you'll be kept in cell for some days. It's very, very important. We need to inculcate that culture. Because a sanitary environment, first of all, is a personal initiative. It's something personal. I don't think somebody should come and tell you how to clean your home. So, with this law, when people realize that it is not good to dispose of refuse at any
if actually they do have a lot of these refuge and they don't have the possibility to dispose of them, what do you think what are they going to do?
Yeah, that is even one of the problems we have. We are mostly in the collect and dump rather than recycling. That is a problem, because we should now get to the level of recycling. We produce about 600,000 tons of plastics a year. That's the highest in Central Africa. And you see littered everywhere. Everybody is drinking juice. We are yet to come out with a policy that says these companies, like in those days, I remember back in the days when we were growing up, these people who used to sell glycerin, they will pass in the quarter. Those who, if you have glycerin bottle, they give you 50, they give you 25, you go and pick it. And I think we should do the same with these plastic containers. All these bursaries and the like, with no publicity, that produce these containers, they should do everything possible. The state should make sure that the same containers that they send out, they should use the same containers. Because if you go to our streams around, into our dump yards around, the things are packed. So that is one of the issues, recycling. We need to recycle.
Thank you very much, Changvi Roosevelt. It is no news that Lumfo allows on Guam. Today in the country, we see how people are misbehaving when it concerns disposition of their waste. And at this moment, we see how the Minister of Territorial Administration, who has been, of course, not sleeping, making sure that his voice is being heard all over the national territory, not only in this particular domain. And while we had other ministers who were just sitting, were just there, and maybe some of their actions were not, of course, highly appreciated by some. But today we see the Minister of Territorial Administration coming up strictly, and people are adhering to this situation. But why is it that, are you sure this particular gesture by the minister will be something that will be, of course, implemented to entirety and make sure that this problem of waste management become a thing of the past? Or maybe in no time, no distant time, let's say in 2 weeks, this particular activity will die down?
I would like to say that the minister is in his role. He is in his role, perfect role, as the custodian of public order. In the sense that, you see, the eyesore in the form of garbage that we see in our streets, it's a source of disorder. It's a source of disorder in the sense that it can, when people pass around and they see those garbage heaps like that, they can become, they can become irritated, and they even go on strike.
No, for Lawson.
People,
if actually we have 700 shovels and wheelbarrows,
yes,
donated to some of these authorities, if they do collect some of these garbages, where are they going to dump them?
No, Phil, you see, there are various ways of managing garbage. There are various ways. The problem lies with us, first of all, as citizens. In your house, when you collect, we have 3 types of garbage. We have organic waste, we have inorganic waste, we have plastic waste, we have metallic waste. We just collect all and dump in the same place. We should, our population should know that it is important for us to sort our garbage right from our homes. We have different bags in which we put metallic waste. We have another bag in which we put plastic waste, and then we know that for the organic waste from vegetable and so on, we can put those ones under our plantain suckers, and they grow, they improve on the fertility of the soil.
Known for Lawson.
Yes.
Today we have companies, of course, that are working in collaboration with the state of Cameroon. And without publicity, we have Isacam, Ticlof, and even Genelcom that, of course, are working hand in gloves with the government of Cameroon to make sure that they do take care of these waste management. And it is obvious too that about 85 to 90% of the money that was supposed to be paid to these companies comes from the government, and just let's say 15 to 10% of this amount of money should be paid by the local authorities, talking about our councils in Cameroon. Today we see garbages littered all over the street. What actually went wrong?
Let me tell you that Isacam from Roosevelt just talked about the excise, a certain tax that is collected on imported goods, and that money is supposed to be sent to regional and local authorities to enable them to manage garbage at local level. Out of that money, Douala and Yaoundé have 17.5%. Between 2000 and 2023, the Customs Department collected 60.5 billion francs from this tax.
2019 to 2020.
Yes, they collected 60.5 billion francs. And if you take 17% of 60.5 billion, Douala had 10.5 billion, Yaoundé had 10.5 billion. And that money was not enough to do the work of Isacam in here in Yaoundé, because Isacam needs 15 billion francs to operate full capacity in the city of Yaoundé. And Douala needs even more than 15 billion. So you see that what comes in from the government is very, very insignificant. So the solution lies not only in stepping up the funding to the waste management.
Because it's coming now this time around, which of course is a corridor of the government. It's coming this time around, giving out shovels, giving out wheelbarrows, and so on and so forth to these authorities in the country.
The minister has to defend the position of government, because in the month of March, Cameroon will be hosting the 14th session of the World Trade Organization in Yaoundé between the 26th to the 29th of March. There are other international organizations that Cameroon is going to host. And those people will not come to Cameroon, and as they are driving through the streets, they see mountains of garbage. It will not speak well about our nation.
So if they do come and then leave, if they do come, then leave, are you sure the same process that has been engaged by the minister will continue? That
is where we have a problem. The action is good, but it may not be sustainable, because you know, after that, when our visitors must have come and gone, it happened during the Cannes too. During the Cannes in 2021, Yaoundé was very clean. After that period, you see, we went back to our old ways. You see, so, but now what we want, a situation in which waste collection should be professionalized. We should see waste as a raw material that can be processed. The circular economy should come into play, so that we collect our refuse, transform them, and you know, we get fuel from the transformation, we get manure, we get fertilizer, and then we create jobs. You know, the circular economy from waste management can create about 30,000 jobs in Cameroon.
Thank you very much, Numfo Lauso Nangwa. Dr. Moise Ambok, you are not happy because you have a lot to say. Tonight you are moving left or right. Now you have the floor. Dr. Moise Ambok, it is very obvious that today we see these efforts coming at the time when Cameroonians are expecting to host the World Trade Organization meeting in the country. Does it mean that each time that the country is expecting to organize an event of this magnitude, that is where authorities need to make or take actions in order to clean up the cities? Then after that, what next?
Unfortunately, it's something we cannot argue. It's real. And we have many examples. Cannes and the conference, the chef d'etat, those things. That's where you see the city is clean. They arrange roads, and when the event is gone, to come back into our same way of doing things.
Bamenda was clean when, of course, they were expecting to celebrate one of our major events in the country. And then after the event, Bamenda is what it is.
Thank you.
There's
something I want us to understand very well. Not only us here, but all Cameroonians and our leaders. We are living today in the globalized world. Everything is done somewhere. Is known everywhere. And the way you are doing things in your country shows the level of your understanding of your policies, and even the willingness of your leaders to bring you somewhere. We are talking today about garbages. Around the world, it's now a business. It's not something we should just throw and behave as if it's a burden. Is a raw material.
It's raw material.
So when I'm still talking about these embassies doing reports and sending abroad, when they look the way we are treating our garbages, they are very surprised.
Dr. Mbog Moise, this is an opportunity for Cameroonians to take the lead and proceed in the domain of waste management in the country. Why should others monopolize this aspect?
Thank you. What is supposed to be done at this level is for the government to open the business and to give all the guarantees for either the local bank to finance its business, or the partners abroad should come in and help because they have already the experience. In all the businesses, if the climate is not worked on properly, you will not have help. Today we have to stand with those who are already in the transformation of garbages around the world, and they are in Europe, in US, in China, everywhere they are. The problem with us is that when we are facing a problem, we behave as if we are alone in the world. We don't know how to learn from others.
Benchmark.
Yes, we don't know how to do that.
In the past, Dr. Moise Ambok, we had sanitation services that always go around to control stuff like this. But today they are no more. What happened?
Many things happened. The population increased, and what we used to have is still there, but now it's small. You have new quartier in Yaoundé, for instance. 10 years back, there are a lot of quartiers that were not existing. Mendong, Simbok, and you go towards, you know, the city just increased. Yaoundé, Douala, and everywhere. So, but we are still using the same capacity we had 10 years ago. So if you continue to use that, we cannot be able to manage everything we have. What I want to call on, I thought the Minister Tankanji did something good because of the occasion. And we salute it because it shows that I can stand in the matter and solve the problem to remove this shame we can have. Because I mean, some people, when they hear Cameroun, they see Samuel Eto'o, Roger Mila, they give us a standard.
Dr. Moise,
and when they reach here, they are surprised.
Dr. Moise, these are shovels. These are just sanitation equipments. Are you sure that these are sanitation equipments? They are sanitation equipments. Are you sure that maybe in 2 weeks, these sanitation equipments will be there to serve the purpose for which it was being given?
For me, what the minister gave, we not last 1 year. It will not last 1 year. Because it's just to handle a problem, a punctual problem.
Yes.
If we don't enter into the spirit of making it a business, a real business, in which we have to invest for the long term, we continue to have the same problem. And in our country, I don't know, I don't understand why abroad people understand this matter and they work it, and it works. In Rwanda today, in Ghana today, I will just take these two countries, they have mastered the thing in such a way that when somebody throws his dustbin somewhere, himself knows that he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Because there are dustbins everywhere, there are places to drop your garbage, and even to urinate. You cannot urinate everywhere because there are toilets prepared for that.
But here in Cameroon, do people urinate everywhere?
Of course.
Where are they supposed to urinate? Do you have toilets somewhere? And you know, and the worst thing is that our leaders are traveling abroad. They see how it works abroad. But when they comes back into the country, because we go through through medicine, they are blind. They are no more seeing that this is missing, this is lacking. We have to improve in this or that. So we salute what Minister Tankanji did, but we believe that it's high time to get into the business properly.
Thank you very much.
In such a way that we will not just collect, we will not just dump them, we treat the garbage, and it become, you know, as our brother was saying, different things can come out of this treatment.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moise Ambok, Barrister Lekelefaka Michael. It is very obvious that when you go around town today in the city of Yaoundé, town is getting towards another different dimension because of the fact that people are becoming conscious of some of their way of life, adapting into the new situation thanks to declarations from the Minister of Territorial Administration. But these are shovels, these are wheelbarrows given to administrative authorities or given to local authorities today. Do you think is going to be a solution to the waste management problem in Yaoundé and various major cities in the country?
How can it respond to a problem where a profound, a very serious problem which is supposed to be resolved at the base? Take, for example, the city of Yaoundé. We need to decongest the city of Yaoundé. That is first a solution.
Yeah.
We need to decongest it. It is a city, it's a town which is concentrated. We need to decongest Yaoundé so that the population influx which we have, the population density that we have today, if the population was not so much concentrated here, I think the volume of garbage that we see today will not be as.
But even if you have a sparsely populated city of Yaoundé, people will still exist and people will still use.
What I'm trying to say is this: when you do that, we decongest the town, you create the atmosphere that the institution which is there managing the garbage which is there can be able to meet up with the volume of garbage produced. Now, going to the local authorities, we need to inculcate this, not going only to the mayors, to the administrators, and the mayors and the local, but we need to go right to the quarter head. These are the people. If you go into the town of Yaoundé,
you're talking about sensitization. That's what you're telling us.
Sensitization and whatever. If this measure has to be effective, we need to go to the mayors. We need to go to the quarter head, the traditional rulers.
But this over 700 and something wheelbarrows and shovels, will it be enough to take care of the situation?
I don't even want to look the 700 and something wheelbarrows. Why? Because
it's playing its own role.
I don't want. I doubt first whether it is not just by accident that this initiative came up. I doubt whether what he has spent to do that was provided in the budget line of his ministry, that he was going to do that. So if he was not provided in the budget line in his ministry,
it is part of its role.
It is part of. I'm not saying that.
Sure because I'm
not saying that it is not what it is not his role, but I'm asking, was it provided in the budget line? Because if it was not provided in the budget line in his ministry, today it means that the money which was supposed to cater for maybe
something else
has been used for a different purpose,
that is embezzlement.
Which is not embezzlement,
mismanagement, according to Consupe.
In his ministry, he have this budget of
miscellaneous.
Yes. This budget that he can use
I'm simply questioning that. I hope that should not, because if we don't look at it, we don't encourage our managers not to get up to be sentimental in responding to the problems. We shall continue to have problems of mismanagement, because mismanagement is one of the fundamental problems that we have been going through in a nation.
Thank you very much. We are coming to the end of this program. Of course, I just want to get your last opinions in relation to this issue of waste management in the country. Now tell us, Achangvi Roosevelt, a final solution to this issue of waste management in Cameroon.
Well, to me, the final solution is we should make waste management a business. Because if we make it a business, it's not only also going to contribute to a significant percentage of our GDP. And I must say, some councils have been doing it. Tuba Council, for example, in the Northwest region, they started it, wherein they hired an expert that transforms, that recycles plastic into pavement bricks. And those pavement bricks were being used by the mayor. It was an initiative that the mayor brought, and many other mayors have been imitating, which is good. And it didn't only go a long way to help the council, but also to help youth within the municipality. Because during holiday jobs, for example, he will call the youth within the municipality. They will come, go around, pick papers from quarters in bags. So based on the quantity you bring, they stock it there and they take to the recycling side with the machines and the like and transfer. So I think what we need now is we should make waste management a business.
Thank you very much. Waste management should become a business, and once it is a business, it is very obvious that there will be job opportunities. Your last word,
Yes, I think as a way forward, council should acquire high capacity incinerators to burn refuse like we have in Kenya and in Rwanda.
But when you dispose of waste in this magnitude, it destroys also the ozone layer.
Yes, but the advantages are more than the disadvantages, because these high capacity incinerators, they have the capacity of producing, when the refuse is burned, heat is produced, and that heat is used in homes. For example, in Addis Ababa, in the REPI project in Addis Ababa, the high capacity incinerator is able to create 400 jobs and supply electricity to about 30% of
So
that
we have a
city.
lot of natural resources, but we are not using them.
We are not using them. We are not using them. One other solution is that we should use cameras and build more toilets. We should put cameras at strategic positions in our towns so that the camera should catch people who litter our streets. And once, if you just imagine if a camera catches you and you pay 25,000 francs twice.
I think that has been done recently. The head of state signed something in that line.
And then if you, when it is done, and the next time they tell you that if you are caught again, it will be inscribed in your casier judiciaire. It will frighten people. Then you see we have monthly cleanup campaigns should be instituted by the Prime Minister. And this is something in Anglophone Cameroon.
But we have it in Yaoundé. People do that.
Our brothers and sisters of the French-speaking regions are not used to it. Because in West Cameroon, we knew of sanitary inspectors. And when we keep a 1 day in a week or 1 month for cleanup campaign, everybody by 6 o'clock is up.
If you keep talking about Northwest and Southwest, of course, when you go to Limbe, we have garbages, we have garbage along the streets. Yes, it's littered everywhere.
It is true. What we are saying is that the situation has got to a level where, you know, it has overspread.
You have some few seconds.
Just to chip in something in what he's saying, we need some personal efforts, because even with these cleanup campaigns, you discover that with these cleanup campaigns, the people instead close their stores.
Yes, and
they don't do the cleaning.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Moise. Your last words.
As a politician, I believe you have to work hand in hand with the experts that can help to solve different problems, and especially this kind of problems. Secondly, we have to get into education, educate populations, as Barista was saying, with the chiefs, with the funds, with the head of quartiers, and everywhere in such a way that people are educated, and we politicians are building things to solve problems with respect. So we have everything it takes in Cameroon. We just need to organize ourselves and to have good policies, and we help people to live in better conditions.
Thank you very much. Your last words, a few seconds.
Yeah, the right to a decent environment is provided for by the Cameroon Constitution.
Of course.
So it is a call on the powers that be to enforce this constitutional law, this constitutional right.
Thank you very much, panelists. Thank you very much, Changvi Roosevelt. Thank you very much for your presence, local development expert and also an expert in decentralization. Thank you very much, Numfo Laosongwa, civil society activist. Thank you, Barrister Lekelefak Michael, for your presence, Barrister at Law. Thank you very much, Dr. Moise Mboka, our political communication strategist. Thank you very much, televiewers. It has been a pleasure being with you tonight. I just want to remind you that this program, of course, will be yours on Saturday at 4 p.m. In the evening. So if you have not the opportunity to watch us, take the rendezvous again maybe on Saturday, and you have the possibility to get the insight of this program.